Why do we procrastinate and how do we beat it? You know you should be doing something, but yet you do other low priority things, or you're time wasting altogether, even though you know there's a consequence to not doing what you should be doing, and yet you still procrastinate. Well, you're not alone because we all do it. All humans do this. The question is, how much do you procrastinate? Do you procrastinate a lot, or do you procrastinate just a little bit, or somewhere in the middle? Procrastination is a human trait that is a form of self-sabotage and also a form of protection. If we procrastinate, we don't feel bad, but yet we'll feel bad later because we don't get that done. But in the moment, we feel better. So that's one form. The other one is self-protection, where we're protecting ourselves from fear, from embarrassment, from something else psychologically and emotional. So it's making us feel better in the moment by procrastinating, even though if you did the thing you're supposed to do, or you do the things that you want to do, then you'll feel better later. But our mind and our bodies and our emotions don't think that way. It thinks for the immediate, the minute-to-minute benefit that we're going to get. And that's what makes doing the right thing, the thing you need to be done, so hard, because the self-sabotage and the procrastination is going to sidetrack you at every opportunity it gets. And you can't avoid that. But what you can do is condition yourself for not procrastinating. You can condition yourself for being effective, for being productive, for not being sidetracked. And in today's world with technology and social media and chimes and bings and buzzes that are on your phone, all these notifications, there are so many things that are distracting us, so much more than it was just, say, 20 years ago, before the start of smartphones and the technology that we're connected every single time. I mean, even now we got a watch that buzzes every time we get an email. What the hell do you need a watch to buzz every time you get an email for? There's nothing that important that you can't wait for that email or for that notification. And yet we believe that these things are so important that we let them distract us and sidetrack us from the thing that we actually should be doing. We don't spend dedicated time to doing the most important things. So let's go over a few of these things. What do we do instead of the important things? We'll do things like answer emails. We'll clean the house. We'll fix something. We'll organize the desk, or organize something in the house. We'll go for coffee with a colleague or a buddy, and we're going to talk business, or maybe a business, quote unquote, business lunch. Not saying that all business lunches are bad, but a lot of times we do it as a form of procrastination. We'll go on social media, which most of the time is just an absolute waste. We'll do quote unquote research and quote unquote prep work. And so these are things that we'll do, that's how those procrastination will show up in these different things. And so what does procrastination look like? Why are we self-sabotaging? Why are we procrastinating to feel better in the moment than to do the thing that we know will make us feel better long-term, make us wealthier, make us healthier, make us fitter, make us happier, make us have better connections, help us, in all sorts of ways. But how does it show up in these forms of procrastination and self-sabotage? So it's fear or embarrassment, or fear of embarrassment. Why don't we do the thing that we should be doing? Well, maybe because we're afraid that we're going to look bad, or we're not going to be able to complete it. So why go for something that, we're likely to fail? Well, what if we swap that? And it's like, why not do it because maybe we will succeed? Why not do it because we'll overcome the fear of embarrassment? Or maybe we won't be embarrassed at all because we will succeed. This is why people don't go up and talk to other people, because they're shy to talk to new people. This is why they don't ask for promotions. This is why we don't do all of the things that will get us outside of our comfort zone to get to the thing that we want to do. Overwhelmed. Sometimes we're just overwhelmed, and so instead of doing something, we do something that just makes us feel good in the moment. We'll go on social media, we'll go do some research, we'll go watch a YouTube video, we'll go clean the house, we'll do something physical, something that makes us feel better in the moment. So sometimes it's overwhelm. Task adversion, doing things you dread, say April 15th when you got to do your taxes. Not right now excuse. It's like, it's not the right time. And why start something if like I'm not feeling it? I don't feel like doing it. It's not the right time. I'm not feeling it. This is a popular one. And if you let that control you, then you'll never get anything done that you want to get done, because it's almost never going to feel like it's the right time. You're almost never going to feel like I'm in the mood. I'm really inspirational. You get those moments, the inspirational, in spirit. You get those moments of guided genius, but they don't always happen. So if an artist only waited till when he got this guided genius when he was in spirit, then he would create so much less art. So you have to learn how to start doing things, and then the inspiration comes as you start doing it. For example, when I'm writing, if I have quote unquote writer's block, I'll just start writing something. I'll write anything, and then it's just a matter of time, a few sentences, a few paragraphs before something comes out good. The garbage stops and something comes out good. And it's like, oh, that's great. Delete it all and just start writing. It's like, that's a great idea. So you have to start doing it. The ostrich syndrome. If we ignore the future, maybe it won't happen, but we know that usually isn't true, and it tends to be worse than we imagine because we didn't do the thing we were supposed to do. Confusion, when you don't know what you need to do, so you do nothing. That's really easy to do when you're starting something new and you have no idea and there isn't a clear plan. When I used to build houses, had to put the foundation in, had to put the framing in, had to put the plumbing and the electrical and all the utilities in. Then you put the insulation, then you put the sheetrock on, then you put the finishing trim, then you put the paint. There was a clear progress. But if you have an online business or if you're an entrepreneur or something like that, then there isn't only one clear path. There are many paths to success. So now it makes it much, much harder because you're confused on which is the path I should do. Well, maybe that path's better than this path. Well, I'm doing this path, but that path looks better. You know, the grass is always greener cliche. And so instead it's like, wow, that looks better. So you stop doing what you're doing instead of just continuing and then adjust as you're going along. It's too many people, especially entrepreneurs, artists, creatives, and professionals that own their own business, they start something, then they stop. They start something, then they stop. They start something, they stop, and they never really accomplish much. And then the screw this attitude. It's like, well, this isn't going the way I wanted to, so F it, and I'm just not going to do anything at all. And then you start over. Then it's kind of like the previous example I just gave. You start something, you stop. You start something, you stop. You start something, you stop. Because maybe it's just a little more difficult, took a little more time, it was a little bit more confusing than you planned. So when you don't have the success you thought you'd have, well, F it. I'm not going to do anything. Learned helplessness. This is a really bad one. This is probably one of the bigger ones. We often have learned helplessness, meaning that we've been conditioned to believe that we can't succeed, so why try at all? You tie a dog to a leash for long enough, like you put him on a collar, or an elephant, put a stake in the ground when it's a baby, when the elephant's not strong enough to pull the stake out of the ground, when the elephant gets strong enough that it could easily pull that stake out of the ground, most often they won't do it because they've learned that they can't do it when they were younger, and so they always think they can't do it. This is the same way with horses. When you tie a horse up and you just put loosely put the rope around a stick, they could easily pull that off, but they don't because it's learned helplessness. We do the same thing. If you're told over and over and over through parents, school, job, whatever, it's like, no, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong. Why are you doing it like that? You could be doing it better. Why aren't you giving it all your effort? Why can't you do anything right? You hear this over and over and over and over and over, and we learn that we can't do it right ever, so why try anything? And it goes back to the F this, and we don't do anything at all. So that's learned helplessness. The way to combat that is conditioned success, learned success. So when you do little things, you get the success, then you get more success, then you get more success, then you have a whole trail of things you've done well, and you're like, wow, I can do this. I've done this before, let me do it again. And bad habits. This is where we've learned bad habits, such as procrastinating is a learned habit. Instead of doing the thing we should be doing immediately, we have this learned habit of procrastinating, of waiting till the last minute. You learn this often in school. You wait till the night before the test to study. Instead of studying the whole week for a few minutes at a time, you wait till the last minute, you cram, you get the test, you do okay. So, hey, it works, so why not? Why stop it and why do something different? Even though you know that if you studied every day just a little bit, you would get better grades and the test would be even easier. You'd have less anxiety, and everything would just be better altogether. But yet you've created that habit, that conditioned behavior to wait until the last minute, cram, and do okay. So you keep doing that. But there's a better way, and you know there is, but yet you keep doing the same thing because it's conditioned habit. So what causes procrastination? Some of these things is a repeat of what we just talked about. Bad habits. Bad habits that have been conditioned over time. An unconditioned mind. This is the opposite of bad habits. So a mind that's conditioned to do the bad things like procrastinate, like go on social media, like answer text messages, like check email. We've conditioned ourselves. It's an unconditioned mind to say no to those things and say yes to the things that matter. Instead of checking your email, checking social media, all this other stuff. No, focused, 2 hours, I'm not doing anything but the thing I need to do. So it's an unconditioned mind. Lack of sleep and rest. Nobody gives this enough credit, because this is so super important. I know this from my personal experience that if I sleep well, even just reasonably well, not amazing, but just reasonably well, I'm probably 10 times more productive than if I don't sleep enough. And yeah, we wear it like a badge on our chest. It's like, oh, I only slept 4 hours and I got through the day. Yeah, you did, but it's not nearly as effective as if you got a full night's sleep. We should be wearing a badge of honor like, I slept 7.5 hours. I slept 8 hours. I slept 9 hours last night. That should be the badge of honor, because we're more productive, we're more clear-headed, we're more creative. Everything works better when we sleep well. The other side of that is exercise. If you're exercising, you get the adrenaline, you get the endorphins, you get all these good chemicals going through your body that also go through your mind. So you're more creative, you're more productive, you're more focused, you deal with stress better, you have more energy, you have more endurance. So exercising should be a part of every single day. Again, doesn't get enough credit for beating procrastination. And then we got to condition good habits like training a dog. I've been training my dog. My one dog likes to take off. She bolts. She'll stick around for a little while. She'll see a squirrel, a deer, whatever it is, and she's gone. And so how do you train her out of that? Well, I keep treats in my pocket when she's off leash out in the yard, and I train her. So she starts going a little too far, I call her back, I give her a treat. She goes going too far, call her back, give her a treat. She takes off and she's a bad girl. I don't scold her. When she comes back, I give her a treat and want her to always know this is the safe place, this is the great place. And so this is how you train a dog. This is also the same way you train yourself. You have rewards and punishment. Well, if I don't do this, then I don't get to do this other thing I want to do. If I don't finish it, then no social media for the rest of the day. But if I finish it, I could be on social media. If I don't finish this, then no dessert or going out to dinner or some other thing that you might want. If I finish this, I'm going to go treat myself to a nice dessert. I'm going to treat myself to a nice bottle of wine, nice dinner out, whatever it is. So you have a punishment for not doing it, not taking the proper action, then the reward, getting the cookie, getting the treat, if you do it. So you got to condition the good habits. And then accountability. This is probably one that also doesn't get nearly enough credibility in beating procrastination. Having accountability partner, accountability system, some way, accountability checklist, even just a simple checklist, writing what you're going to get done these days and check today and check it off. These things make such a huge difference in how much you get done. Just a checklist. Posting to a friend is like, hey, this is what I'm going to get done today. Send a message in the morning, in the evening. This is what I got done. This is what I didn't get done. That's great. Part of Unstoppable Morning is showing you how to beat procrastination by beating great habits. So if you haven't joined the community yet, it's free to join. You can join the free group. You can also join the premium group, whichever one you prefer. But I train you on how to beat procrastination by setting up a system of success so that you get the wins, so that you don't get sidetracked and you don't self-sabotage in the form of procrastination and these other things. So go ahead to unstoppablemorning.com or sign up on the link below. You can join for free. You can join me on my live calls where I'll answer your questions and give you more strategies and education on how to beat procrastination. So a reminder, this procrastination is a form of self-sabotage. It's a form of protection. It's a form of in-the-moment enjoyment, instant gratification. But all of the things you want are on the other side of instant gratification, the 2 hours of dedicated focus, not checking the emails, checking notifications, checking whatever else. And so everything you want is learning how to not be self-sabotaged by procrastination in these instant gratification moments and doing the things that you know you can do, and so that you make more money, you have a great body, you have the great lifestyle, you feel great about yourself, you have a ton of self-confidence. All of the things are on the other side of not procrastinating. I'll see you in Unstoppable Morning. Check the link below.